Flight boss, bitch, for sure. You're not listening to the Mind of an Terry's Moon. I'm the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And right now, let me get more into a helpful space. Let me get into a helpful spirit, other than a warful one, a warfare one. You know what I'm saying? Because, all energies are actually necessary at a given time. But for this most part, you know what I'm saying? I don't think this is quite necessary. As a matter of fact, for everybody who are religious and new to my channel, but you're into astrology, which I don't really get, but, I want to help you on that nature also. So, you could be a religious person and everybody has a piece of spirituality. So in astrology, we would correlate spirituality to Jupiter, and Neptune. Neptune would be the higher octave of it. But mainly Jupiter, because Jupiter is more closer down to this realm. So Jupiter got more sufficient ways to express spirituality in a way that this realm can understand it. Neptune, it may not get filtered in a way that you can understand it in this realm of reality. So it may stay into your dream state or your imagination or creativity state or your hallucination state. But once the spirituality get filtered through the Jupiter light, that's a little closer down here. So when we get that light information, right, that gives us information of expansion, experiences. Now, within these experiences, we're able to extract wisdom and knowledge and place new meanings and reasonings on these experiences. And that ultimately causes expansion. So this is why they call Jupiter like the lightning strikes from Jupiter. Jupiter brings prosperity, and all kind of things of that nature. So what's your spirit like? What's your spirit like? So we could break this down if we correlating it with Jupiter. So right now, first thing you want to understand is the alignments and the angles that your Jupiter has. Because the Jupiter is going to bring experiences in your life. So whatever sign you have Jupiter in, this is how you perceive experiences, right? So if you got Jupiter in water, you receive your experiences in an emotional way. You're emotionally connected to your experiences and your wisdom and knowledge and your meanings and reasonings. If you got Jupiter in fire, then that means you experience this realm of reality in a fire type way. So you see your experiences in a way of seeing and feeling about things in an expressive way, in a transformative way, in a spirited way. If you got Jupiter and Earth, then you see your spirituality or you see the experiences that you go through in a more practical way, in a way that make more sense, in a way that's more relating to reality, more that's relating to a shape and form that's down here that we can understand. Because the closer that things are to our realm of reality, the better we can understand it. You know what I'm saying? That's why when you even go to the star, the sun, that's why you can understand that one faster than you can understand the other ones that's behind it. Now, also when you get to motherfucking Jupiter, Jupiter, let's say you have Jupiter and air. Now, Jupiter and air is represented in the sense of the way you experience this realm of reality, or the way you kind of see spirituality is in an air-like way, communicating, thinking, analyzing in forms of information. So if you're not getting no good information that's worded right about the spirit or spiritual things in that nature, then you're not going to correlate with it right. If no one can logically explain it to you with a Jupiter and air in your chart, then you're not going to get with the spirit if no one can logically explain it to you, right? With a Jupiter and fire, if no one can express the spirit, or you can't see it in action, or you can't envision it, then you're not going to believe in the spirit with the Jupiter and fire. With a Jupiter and water, if can't nobody make you emotionally perceive it, if can't nobody make you if can't nobody arouse, if the emotions can't be aroused by somebody, energy or spirit and things of that nature, then that the Jupiter and water is not going to believe that. If it can't arouse their emotions in some way, then that's going to make the Jupiter and water not believe in the spirit. And then when you talk about the Jupiter and Earth, if you can't show, for an example, or have a thing, have a person, place, or thing, or possession as a representation of the spirit, and you could kind of tie the both together and be like, this came from this because the spirit behind it did such, this, that, and the third, then the earth sign is not going to, the Jupiter and earth sign is not going to believe in the spirit. So it goes very deep. Now, also, when we talk about understand your alignments. So what are you aligned with? Is your Jupiter opposing the sun? Is it squaring the sun? Is it opposing Mercury? Is it squaring or sextile Mercury? Because this is going to give you other attributes too. You do this with Venus and Mars and Saturn, and you do this also. So for the most part, look at it like this. Let's say, all right, let's say your Jupiter is in Leo, which is fixed fire. So you got your own fixated way of seeing and feeling about these experiences that you're going through. You got your own fixated way of seeing and feeling about your wisdom and knowledge, your meanings and reasonings to things. So you don't allow other people to try to make you see or feel differently about the experiences that you're going through with these people, places, and things that you're involved with. So that's the bad part about it. You could become stubborn, but the good part about it is you could be the leader and the center stage when it comes to the experience in general. And you create a lot of experiences, and these experiences are straight out of your visions. So if you are a negative person, you're going to create those negative experiences with a Leo and Jupiter. But this is besides the fact. Now, say you got Jupiter and Leo, right? Now, say it's opposing your sun. So your sun is your actions, the way you act, how you see things, what you're consciously aware of. So, 10 times out of 10, your sun is in Aquarius if it's opposing your Jupiter being a Leo. So this means your actions, the stuff you pay attention to, the stuff other people are consciously aware of you, is and the things you choose to act on and pay attention to is at odds with how you see spirituality. It's at odds with your experiences. So you go through experiences, but your actions is at odds with these experiences. So you're the type of person that put yourself into a lot of turmoil. You might be the type of person that you pay attention to certain things, but you don't pay attention to your spirit nature about it. That's on a whole separate note. You keep those things separate. You don't want your spirit to be seen in your actions or whatever like that. And you don't want to find yourself paying too much attention to your spirit realm. You don't find yourself trying to act too much on your spirituality or your meanings and reasonings and wisdom and knowledge. So to make this a give and receive match other than a tug and war match, because that's what's happening when it's a tug of war match. To make this a give and receive match, sometimes you have to set aside the way you act or other people acting in order to receive advice or information or meanings of reasoning or to receive the true experience, which is Jupiter, and vice versa. Sometimes you have to set aside your wisdom and knowledge, your meanings and reasonings, your experience in order for you to see and pay attention clearly without no filters in front of it. That's AKA you back aligning and giving and receiving with your sun and your moon. You see what I'm saying? I mean, not your sun and your moon, but Jupiter and your sun. So same way when you get into the aspects of when you get into the aspects of Jupiter squaring what? Mars. Let's say your Jupiter squares Mars. So your spirituality and your experiences, you need to learn how to add some aggression to that, add some motivation, add some desire. So you may lack motivation, lack desire into a lot of your experiences that you go through. And vice versa. Your desires, your goals, your intent, your willpower and passions, you don't add a lot of wisdom and knowledge to that with a Mars square and Jupiter. You might be the type of person that you might always got people around you trying to give you advice or try to give you some sense of wisdom on how to apply your goals or how to assess your intentions or your alternative motives or your passions, right? So you have to learn from these things. So, with a person who got Mars squaring Jupiter, a lot of times your goals or your alternative motives don't support your spirit. So you don't get into things that truly help you understand your spirit. You get into things into the physical realm and shit that's dealing with aggression and passion and motivation. And you utilize your spirit to do these things, but you don't utilize these things to uplift your spirit. So you can kind of see if this is something you need to be doing anyway, because getting lost into that, you may lose your spirit. You see what I'm saying? So even when we get into you have to go through all these things. You don't have to go through these things, but I see that there's people on my channel now that rather go through these things to understand the level that I'm in. You see what I'm saying? All right, now say you got Jupiter conjunct Neptune. Right now, a person with Jupiter conjunct Neptune understand everything I'm saying. Even if they even disagree, they still know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? And to a point that they won't even be in a realm of reality to even disagree. They would just have their own concept of what I'm talking about, and they would be able to explain it in their own way. But we'll be talking about the same shit. So you see what I'm saying? At the same time, a person with Jupiter and Neptune, spirituality is on a higher octave. So I don't even really have to break y'all down. A person with Jupiter conjunct Neptune, probably watching this right now, already get it. So let's say Jupiter, a person who got a Jupiter opposing their Saturn or squaring Saturn, they don't correlate their spirituality with reality in no way, shape, or form. So what they learn in reality, that's what they learn in reality. So if a person placed their thing within this reality, taught them a form of spirituality, then that's what they're going to conform to. That's what they're going to construct to. They're not going to cling on to their Jupiter, which is their own spirituality, and to understand these natures for themselves beyond words. Now, with the Jupiter squaring or opposing the Saturn, when a person do get into their spirituality or their Jupiterian nature, which is their meanings and reasonings, their wisdom and knowledge and experience, with it squaring and opposing Saturn, here's where Saturn come and act as a bulldozer. Saturn would come and be like, nah, nigga, that ain't reality. Nah, homegirl, that ain't reality. That don't make sense. That ain't practical. You better not present that to nobody. So, this set of boundaries, limits, and restrictions end up happening when you got Jupiter squaring Saturn or opposing Saturn also. Now, the opposing, you can kind of work better with it with the square. The square, you just have to go through circumstances and experiences in order to learn how to separate what's reality and what's not, and what's actually controlling reality. When you got Saturn squaring Neptune. Saturn squaring Jupiter. And then opposing Jupiter. Opposing Jupiter, you have to learn how to give and receive when it comes to this. So a lot of and not play the tug of war match. The tug of war match is how I was just explaining it. How Saturn come in as a bulldozer, and how your spiritual nature and your experiences, which is Jupiter, don't like to force itself into this reality, which is the people, places, and things that's around you at the time in this reality. They don't conform. You know what I'm saying? And that's when it's a square, you need to learn from each other. You need to learn from reality and learn how to apply that with your spirituality and your experiences, and vice versa. You need to take your experiences and your meanings and reasonings and wisdom and knowledge and advice and apply that to how you see reality and gain structure in your life. That's how the square is supposed to work. Now, the opposition, to make it a give and receive other than a tug of war match, what you actually need to do is you need to set aside how you see reality sometimes to let a little bit of your spirituality in, regardless of what people, places, and things, or what you have learned, try to formulate your spirituality in, and vice versa. Your experiences and your spirituality, which is Jupiter, sometimes you have to set that aside in order to know when reality needs to set in. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes it is good to have boundaries and restrictions and limits, so you can know when to formulate and know when to calculate when to express these things or not, and when a good time to do it. Because a lot of times people do it at bad times, so you get bad results, and then you get grudges or certain things within your emotions and feelings or your mind that will never allow you to see the actual situation clearly. So you're seeing it in a way that you're still foggy and blinded. You know what I'm saying? And that's something you got to deal with on your own, But for the most part, Jupiter goes deep. Now, it also represents what house you have it in. Now, if you have it in an earth house, this could stifle things also. So if you got Jupiter, I don't care even if you got Jupiter in an earth sign. If you have it in an earth house also, it could be double the whammy of left brainness. So, and logic. So what I mean by that, what is the earth houses? That would be the second house, the sixth house, and the 10th house. So for the most part, if you got Jupiter in one of those houses, a lot of your spirituality and experiences go to material things, go to the physical realm. So if you learned something about your spirituality from the physical realm, then see, that's where it could be double the stifling at. So it's important to know where your Jupiter at also, because you may be a person that got a lot of placements that make you a spiritual person. You got Jupiter, you got Pisces placements, Sagittarius placement, you got fire placements, water placements, and or some type of air and earth mixture that kind of makes you dive into spirituality, right? But by your Jupiter being in an earth house, it makes it hard for you to understand it. So you may be the type of person that's into it, but it's just hard for you to fully understand it. So that's why it's good to see if you got a Jupiter in an earth house, because if you have it in a second house, a lot of times it's hard for you to understand it because you got it wrapped up into the people, places, and things that you value. You got it, and you got it wrapped up into the things that you plant seeds into. You got it wrapped up into your self-esteem. You got it wrapped up into what you have to offer to the world, whether it's a gift, talent, trait, or something you learned along the way. If you got it in the 6th house, you got your spirituality and experiences wrapped up in your work, your job, your scheduling, your routine, your ability to criticize and look at the details. So you're too busy criticizing and looking at the details to even fully dive into the spiritual nature. You're too busy putting your spirit to work and putting things in those kind of terms and things of that nature. If you got Jupiter in the 10th house, all your spiritual and experiences is tied to how you're seen, what you're known for, your status, your popularity, what ultimately can become your career, how you want to be seen, how you want to sit on your high horse, how you want people to look at you and things of that nature. So you might be more the authority than anybody else. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times this don't even allow you to be spiritual and things of that nature. So you have to keep that in mind. Or you may try to take spirituality and broadcast it and be seen as the person that represent it, but you're not truly spiritual. That's like a preacher or somebody. Or like the person I'm talking to right now that's into Christianity, but you watching astrology right now. You know what I'm saying? But I'm here for you too. I love all y'all. I don't want y'all to think that you know what I'm saying, that sometimes evils need to be shown. Sometimes you got to get scared to know how to get some strength to not be afraid. You know what I'm saying? So keep that in mind. Now, I just have to come in all these shapes and forms at time for y'all motherfuckers, but I don't want you motherfuckers to get the misunderstanding. I'm here for all y'all motherfuckers. So I don't want nobody to be lost, you know? I want everybody to be intact. So, you know, even when we coming into Jupiter in the 10th house, that's like be a preacher. You know what I'm saying? A person who know they preaching lies. And then they start believing they lies after a while. You know what I'm saying? And then they want to be seen as this higher ego authority that they can preach something. They want to be broadcasted at this person with this wisdom and knowledge. But they truly don't have it. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I wanted to do this video. So Jupiter, your Jupiter alignments. What's your spirit like? Flight boss, bitch. Goddamn air.